I'm Danny Brown, and you're listening to Artifacts, a storytelling podcast about technology, internet culture, media, and the feelings we still attach to them. Because sometimes the objects fade, but the feeling doesn't. Hey there, Danny here, and welcome back. Or perhaps, welcome to the archive. This isn't a new artifact, it's something a little different. Think of it as sitting down together after the museum's closed for the evening, the lights are a little dimmer, and the crowds have gone home, and all that's left are the stories. Well, that's what this bonus episode is. When I started Artifacts, I hoped people would enjoy revisiting the old technology and that a few episodes might make someone smile. What I didn't expect was how many people would write to tell me about the memories these episodes had unlocked. Because it turns out none of these episodes were ever really about the Dreamcast, or burned CDs, or away messages. They were about the people connected to them. And over the last few weeks, you've shared those stories with me. So I thought I'd share some of them with you. The first one is from Elizabeth Swaney O'Neill, co-host of the Branching Out Genealogy podcast, who reached out to share a video episode of the show where she reviewed Artifacts, specifically episode 4, Why We Miss AIM, or AOL Instant Messenger messages. Elizabeth talked about how this episode had made her cry, as it was through AIM that she stayed connected with her now husband after meeting on an online dating site, and this simple little messenger helped her love grow over long distance until they could physically be together. That made me smile, because it's so similar to how I met my wife. We met in the community forum of Emo Band Dashboard Confessional back in November 2005, and while we didn't use AIM, we did use Microsoft Messenger to chat. More than 20 years and 2 kids later, that simple connection through old tech was the spark that made me move from the UK to Canada, get married, and start a life with the person who's now my wife. And as Elizabeth shared, it's a spark that changed her life too. So thank you, Elizabeth, for sharing your story. Then there's Matt Kundle of the Sound Off Media Company. In Matt's own words, each episode brings back memories I hadn't thought about in years, from the excitement of new gadgets to the communities and experiences that formed around them. What I appreciate most is that it isn't just nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. There's thoughtful storytelling and genuine reflection on how these artifacts influenced our lives and continue to echo in today's digital world. I loved what Matt has to say there because it fully captures what I hope the show's key message would be, and that's these artifacts belong to all of us. But they don't necessarily mean the same thing to all of us. They're personal, and that's what makes them worth talking about. One question I've been asked a few times is how do you decide what becomes an episode? And the answer is I don't start with the technology. I start with the feeling. The Dreamcast became an episode because it represented hope. Forums represented belonging. Burned CDs represented connection. Away messages represented identity. Midnight launches represented anticipation. The family computer represented togetherness. Game manuals represented imagination. And when internet belonged to us, well, that became a story about creativity. The artifact is simply the doorway. The story begins when we walk through it. So what's next? Well, Season 2 is already taking shape. If Season 1 explored the objects that shaped the internet generation, Season 2 will explore the places and platforms that shaped us. We'll spend some time with old friends, and maybe revisit a few names already mentioned. There's still plenty of stories waiting inside the archive, and judging by your emails, you've given me quite a few new ones to explore too, so thank you. I've also created a few ways for you to be more involved with the podcast, so that your story can also be heard. The first is the archive, the sister newsletter to the podcast, but it's not your usual newsletter. It won't be weekly, and it won't just be a recap of an episode. Instead, think of it as sharing a story that didn't quite fit into an episode, or a forgotten corner of the internet that I've stumbled across, or a memory that deserves preserving before it quietly fades away. You can find out more and sign up at artifactspodcast.com/newsletter. On top of that, I've created a special little membership option for you to help preserve the memories. If Artifacts has reminded you of a feeling, a memory, or a version of the internet you thought had disappeared, you can support the show with a one-off tip of your choosing. Or, for just $3 per month, become an archivist. You can find out more info or support at artifactspodcast.com/support. And I'll be sure to leave these links in the episode show notes for you to check out later. There's absolutely no obligation, and the podcast will always be free. But if you'd like to help support the time, research, writing and production that goes into each episode, it genuinely means a lot. Before I go, I just want to say thank you. Whether you've listened to one episode or all of them, whether you've left a review, sent an email, shared an episode, or simply spent 5 to 7 minutes remembering something you'd forgotten. Thank you. This show only works because these memories mean something to all of us. So, until Season 2, which drops on August 7, take care of the things that matter to you, even the small ones, because sometimes the objects fade, but the feeling doesn't. I'm Danny Brown, and this is Artifacts. Thanks for spending some time with Artifacts. If this episode reminded you of a memory, a feeling, or a piece of the internet you thought had disappeared, you can find more episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And if you'd like to help preserve the archive, visit the website for ways to support the show. Until next time, take care of the things that matter to you, even the small ones.